Let's jump forward, and this is kind of the meat of the podcast as well, right here. No, I'm joking. That's not yet. That's coming. You're building your house in Nayan. Can we talk about that in terms of that thought process? How did you end up deciding Phuket? Why did you decide Nayan? And work us through a little bit about the visa work and how are you going to make Phuket your home?
Yeah, I'm probably not guaranteed to live here full time yet because I bought this apartment. It's like I stayed in a friend of mine who's ex-military, Clay, and so I stayed there in January, and I thought the workmanship on the build of a place called The Title was amazing. And I got the pool, well, I got a few pools to be honest, and then I went into the reception, and they're obviously selling the new phase, and I said, well, I might be interested. They said it was not built until December next year. And I said, well, that's okay, because I'll just pay it in installments. And that seems to work quite well. So I'll probably come this time as a trial, probably like December, January, February. So I'll probably do 3 months. But then I'm also back in a month's time. So I might do most of September, probably a lot of July. So I'll probably come back then. And then Nha Yang is very quiet, but it's quite a nice beach. It's a lovely place, but then I quite like this area down here. And I like Phuket because it's an island, but you can easily access the mainland by the bridge. It's not like if you're in Koh Samui, because you'd have to get a ferry to, I don't know, Koh Tai or Koh Phangan or something.
Or this bridge that's coming.
Oh, is it?
No.
Okay.
They say it for, I think, the past 20 years.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're talking about an 80K bridge, maybe. It's not happening.
Okay.
Not in my lifetime. Anyways.
And all the beaches in Phuket, because it's like so many on the East Coast and the West Coast, and I just like the area in itself. I'll probably end up teaching in Bangkok and a few other places. My friend has asked me if I could teach in a university somewhere in the south of Thailand, so I'll probably go there. But it's an easy base, because if I teach in India, I can just it's 3.5 hour flight, I think, direct, and then things like Hong Kong, Dubai, so it's like 6 hours. So it's almost like a good base to be. Whether I live here full time, I'm not sure yet. I'll probably, because I enjoy my motorbiking in England and my friends are there. So, so it's debatable whether I'll just sell everything and leave everything to come here, or whether I'll just come here for 3 or 4, 6 months and then go back. So I'll probably do like half and half. I quite like skiing as well, so I won't mind like a ski resort. So I quite like the cold.
Oh yeah, I guess at least you're not too far to Japan from here. Yeah. Maybe 8 hours on a flight. I don't think
skiing in Japan.
Skiing in Japan. Okay. I think the flight from Phuket, you'd probably, I doubt there's direct, but you'd fly to Hong Kong. Yeah. Hong Kong to, let's say, Tokyo is probably 5 hours. Okay. So you're looking at less than 8 hours flight. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because normally I ski in Europe.
Yeah, so there we go. Now I got to move into Japan as well.
But yeah, I've climbed Mount Fuji.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I went there many years ago. In fact, my son was like 5 months pregnant, my girlfriend at the time. So I thought, well, let's go and do Mount Fuji. It's an interesting mountain.
I've been to Tokyo. I saw Mount Fuji. I definitely did not climb it, but I heard it's not that difficult.
No, it's not. No. And then when I did it, I'm not sure. It must be over 20 years ago, 23 years ago. And but the way up is different to the way down. So it's like almost like one-way system coming down. So it's and it wasn't snow-capped when I was there in July. So it's like a volcano on the top. And it wasn't difficult. I've done quite a few mountains, but
have you decided now, like when you're coming to Phuket, did you take any other locations into consideration? I think this is kind of for the listeners out there that are looking to retire, maybe in Southeast Asia. Did you consider Bali, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, or were you pretty much dead set on Phuket?
Well, I've probably been to Thailand the most. I have been to the Philippines. I've been to Cebu, and but it just seems a lot longer to get there, even though it's probably not in reality. I am going to try Palawan after I teach in Taiwan. So I'm going to go there diving in El Nido, I think it is.
El Nido, yeah.
El Nido. So I'm going to go diving there and just see what's like. Whether I would live there or not, because again, it's like 7,100 islands in that sort of Philippines. I think it's a bit more than that. Depends whether the tide's up or down, something like that. And so I'm not sure if I would live there. I probably like it as a place, but I think for me, Phuket is probably easier just to get.
Yeah, I've dove in Palawan. It's really off the beaten path.
Yeah,
because you're gonna have to like fly to Manila, and sometimes they don't even have. Well, they used to have like a 50-seater plane from Manila to El Nido.
Yeah,
and Puerto Princesa is their main airport. Yeah. So actually, the more expensive way, but the way most people could do it is you're going Manila to El Nido, but you're in a 50-seater or something like that.
Yeah.
And that flight round trip is, I think, $400 or $500 US.
Okay.
But most people will go Manila to the airport near Boracay. I forget the name of it, Iola or something. And then you fly from there to Puerto Princesa. Well, that's just your Philippine flights, plus your international. And then when you get to Puerto Princesa, it's a 9-hour drive to El Nido. Now, when I did it, 2015 or 14, they were building the road by hand. Oh. So we're lucky it wasn't raining, but if it was raining, you can't even get there because the road's mud.
Okay.
Now, El Nido's, it's nice, but to be honest, when I was there, all the locals are like hooked and cracked out on meth. So forget about that part.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, when you go out at night to the restaurants and the bars, it's seedy there.
Yeah.
It's a very strange scene. Besides your hotel and your diving is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. But you'll see when you get there and you land, it is off the beaten path, and it's like, yeah, you couldn't live there. There's maybe you could, but personally, there's not much to do out there. Yeah, there's a couple restaurants and this and that, but nothing.
Yeah, I went to Vietnam as well, so I had 2 weeks in Nha Trang, and that was okay. There wasn't many people like myself there. There's a lot of people coming from, obviously, from China, a lot of Russian people, which is fine. But I didn't really see many British tourists there. So, whereas like, in Phuket, there's lots of British people, lots of people from US, where you can have like,
yeah, you can feel a bit more
friendship.
at home.
Like in Nha Trang, it's like yesterday I had a few beers and I've met quite a lot of local people. Not local Thai, but
where was that?
In Nha Trang.
Oh, Nha Trang.
Yeah, so it's like a nice little community there. A lot of German people and British, and then they all live there. A lot of Australians. So we just have natural.
Yeah, and it's more of a local community there. You're gonna have a lot of people that have probably been there like 20 years plus. Yeah. It is. We're looking more like northern Lian maybe to move again to get away. This area down here, it's getting a bit too busy now. And it's nice to be away so you're closer to the airport. So when you have to go, you're not stuck in this 40-minute to 1-hour traffic.
No, exactly. Because yesterday when I come back from Batong, the traffic, was probably an hour plus just to get to Shane, and then 40 minutes to get back for me. So I was like, wow, it was busy. Whereas Nha Trang is hardly any. Yeah,
it's gorgeous. And once you have the dirt bike up there, you can, from the Nha Trang beach, you can rip across. The water is going to have to be a bit low tide. And then that's kind of a shortcut to Nai Thon. And it's the Marriott's right there, but the bike can go right across as long as the water's not too high. I've done it a few times on the motorbike. You get stuck and you got to rip it through, but I think you'll be okay up on the dirt bike. Yeah. There's some Shane could tell you some interesting spots to dirt bike up in Khao Lak, and they go out there on the beach and they just drive for miles and then come back into the jungle.
Okay.
And it's only spots where you can get on the dirt bike, and it's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous because the Khao Lak beaches, once you get way out there, which is Phang Nga area, so you're talking north of Baba Beach Club, Nha Thai. Once you get way up there, I mean, these are like 40-kilometer beaches you can just see for miles. And there's no like bays like we have down here, so you can just rip across that.
Okay.
If you enjoyed this content, we're doing 5 clips like this a week. If you want to watch the full podcast, click here.